Really cool to see you being more active. Regardless, we are now getting ready for our next series. And here we go. Our final best of 5 of the night. A ZvT, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Here we go. And again, we just saw ByuN take down Scarlet earlier today, and I was being a little bit critical as to how Gumiho was executing his 2-Rax openers against Dark earlier in the previous series, but ByuN is arguably the master of it. He's refined it so much, so well. But despite that, as I say that, he's going for a CC first. Oh my, he's crazy. ByuN playing against his image here, going for a CC first before Rax, a very economic opener here from ByuN. And I do think that this is a very smart way to play, especially when you have a reputation, when you are known for playing 2-Rax every single TVZ, to whip this out in a tournament. It's good stuff. Likewise, Solar is going for a hatch gas pool, and unlike players like Ragnarok, it's still a 2-Rax by the way, but unlike players like Ragnarok, unlike players like Dark, Solar isn't one to roach rush. So I do think that this is a very safe opener to go for. Like, it's really greedy. This finishes in time for like a 12 pool and stuff like that. So like pool first can't really punish. Sorry, not 12 pool, but a pool first can't really punish this. Something like a committed roach rush definitely can, but we can see that Solar isn't going for anything too aggressive like that. Solar has his 2 queens on the way, getting a couple of lings, and he should be working on his 3rd. Meanwhile, the Overlord scouts across the map. The Overlord only checks the entryway, so he's only looking for the Raxes, and he sees that there are no Raxes, so Solar, he can expand and take a 3rd. But he doesn't check the timing of the CC. He doesn't know how greedy ByuN was. Oh my god, also, this is crazy. ByuN, he goes for a CC first into a 4-Rax. No Reapers, by the way. He skipped his SCV scout, he skipped his Reaper scout, went straight for Reactor and Tech Lab, and then into additional Raxes. This is as greedy as you can be. This is crazy. ByuN has been watching Spirit. This is very Spirit-esque. I mean, Spirit wouldn't go for a 4-Rax, but he would go for a CC first straight into add-ons. So it's got like a sprinkle of Spirit here. But of course molded in the end by ByuN. So again, this is going to be a very aggressive push from ByuN. He's going to build up a massive amount of Marines. This will be hitting without Medivacs. This is going to be a push, just pure Marines. This does mean that ByuN has to be very careful with how he stims. He only has 1, maybe 2 stims in his army, so he has to make them count when he does move out. Meanwhile, back at home, Solar, he does scout. He does see the 2 Raxes on the high ground, and Solar is going for a 2-on-1 response. He's going for a fast Evo chamber with +1 carapace. This is exactly what you do against a 2-on-1. Against a 4-Rax, Banelings are ideal. A Baneling nest is ideal to help surround and help engulf the Bio army. Pure Ling Queen, it's possible, but it's going to be a tight hold, especially if Solar over drones. If he drones more than like 45, he could be in trouble. Now, he does have Overlord set up. He's sending out Lings here to scout any kind of move out. Solar, he still doesn't know about the additional Raxes, so he doesn't know how aggressive this push is going to be. Again, he has vision here in the center of the map, but ByuN is going the long way around. He's avoiding the scout of Solar. Ling is coming in to confirm, and we'll see the Marines moving out. So Solar knows that it's coming. We have Lings on the way. How many queens do we have? We have 6 queens. Here we go. The Marines have been revealed. We want to hold on that. We want to hold on to that stim. We don't want to waste it. And Solar's bringing every queen here to the front lines. Here we go. We do stim on forward. We get into the middle line. Drones are being targeted down. A lot of workers are falling. 6, 7 workers. And this may just be too much. The Lings can't do anything. And we're diving on top of the Queens. We have a second stim. Everything is going down. Every Queen is going to be going down as well. Up. Can Solar hold on? Even if he does, the damage has been done. Solar barely survives with 3 Queens left. But he even lost 7 workers. And behind this, ByuN, he's transitioning. He's got his factory, starport on the way. He's got more Marines. He's safe from a counterattack. You can see ByuN is even ahead in the worker count, which should not be happening. Third CC now on the way. And Solar, he survived the first push. But now we have the second. And the second one is going to be with medevacs. There's the add-on swap. Medevacs are on the way. ByuN going to be moving out prematurely. This is how ByuN does it. Whatever he goes for these medevac timings, he moves out first, and then he has the medevacs boost across the map to meet up with the army. It's a very ByuN move. It can be risky, but I mean, you know, he's ByuN. He's he can get away with it. As again, we can see Solar hoping to bait out a stim. And there we go. We stim on 4. There aren't enough Lings here in position. There are only 4 Queens. Oh, and Queens are being targeted down. One after the other. Another stim is used. Jesus. ByuN, he's going to be running out of steam here. He's going to be forced back, but this was still an efficient trade. He killed 27 Lings and 2 Queens. The Queen count just getting knocked down every single time. Meanwhile, here come the reinforcements with medevacs, with tanks. It looks like these Marines are going to be cleaned up. Now, was ByuN a little bit too wasteful? Like, was he a little bit too cavalier there? I wonder. Bailing speed is still not done. We have slow bailings on the way. This push from ByuN will have a tank, but significantly less Marines than he usually does. So he does stim on forward. Tank is getting in position. Again, the Marine count is not too high because he's been losing so many of them. These are coming in for a surround. Solar, he's getting on top of the tank. Oh, and the tank is going to fall. Oh, the Bailey's even connect as well, and Solar, he's gaining momentum. I would say that earlier, like, when it came to the defense, Solar was, like, barely holding on. This was much more solid. This was a much more efficient trade for Solar. Taking down the tank, connecting with the Bailing. As ByuN does drop into the main, trying to pull Solar apart. Solar in the midst of a counterattack does get caught by reinforcements. Uh-oh. Oh, the spawning pool. The spawning pool gets really low as ByuN backs off. Meanwhile, we have a second army pushing through the center of the map, cleaning up even more of these tumors. Rotating towards the 4th base. Tank looking very exposed, and Solar dives on it. Another tank is going to go down. ByuN has to be really careful with how he wants to engage. Much better position here on the high ground. But what's important, ByuN keeps losing his tanks, which means that, like, he's not really gaining too much momentum with these pushes. He's dropping, of course, and he's pulling Solar apart, like, by harassing. But these main fights aren't looking anywhere near as terrifying. And here we go. Solar goes for a massive Ling run by. ByuN out of position, loses 3 SCVs. Back at home, we have another army in position for the double drop. Solar getting fully saturated on his 3 bases. His 4th is up and running. He's got a 5th on the way. Solar's on a relatively low worker count. He could do with droning a little bit further. As I kind of like this. ByuN throws down 2 factories. Usually at this stage we have only 2 factory production, but we're about to have triple factory production instead. I think this is a really good way to catch up because ByuN recognizes that he has been losing too many tanks, and he's only got 2 at the moment. Like, he needs to build this back up. Whether it's tanks or Widowmines, of course. But he needs to catch up with his factory production. But here we go. We're on creep. The Ling bait's rolling in. Massive connections. The Lings, they get on top of the tanks as well. Solar once again resetting the tank count, forcing ByuN back. At the same time, he has a secondary army here, keeping up with the drop play of ByuN. Good target firing. But ByuN, he's not really getting into these mineral lines. He's not punishing the bases. He can't get close. Solar, he's been doing a great job at spreading creep, at keeping up with his opponents. And it's not easy, not against ByuN. Behind this, ByuN working on a 4th base. He's not going all in on 3 bases. He's expanding, taking a 4th. He's landing it here, a very forward base location. Very aggressive from ByuN. Especially if this becomes a planetary. He will have an anchor point for his army. Meanwhile, what we can see is that there isn't a lot of creep. There isn't much creep spread. The spawning pool! No! It was low from earlier, and it does get sniped. Adrenal is denied, and no more lanes going to be produced. This drop is getting out of control. He's getting on top of the mineral line. Gets a couple of workers. Spawning pool has to be rebuilt. Has to be remade. Meanwhile, ByuN is gaining ground, catching some queens. The creep was already struggling. Like Solar, he's basically connecting his bases. He's not really out on the map. Good connections. Good Bailey connections on the ByuN army. Solar still fighting back. He can't make any links at the moment, but the spawning pool is about to finish up. And the planetary is about to finish for ByuN. But here we go. Vipers have arrived. The hive has been done for quite some time. Only 1 tank. And Solar should break this position. That's a lot of tanks, but there's nothing else. Pure tank as the Lings, they bust on 4. GG gets called. And Solar takes game number 1. Whew. In a pretty dynamic game. Oh my god. Hyper aggression out of ByuN the entire time. He didn't pull back. But you could argue at times maybe a little bit too aggressive. We mentioned it earlier, and it really did impact that game quite a bit. ByuN never really building up his tank count, always losing 1 or 2 at a time. Solar, I should praise him, right, for being so just jumping on the opportunity whenever he saw it to dive on those tanks, to dive on that army, and make sure that ByuN didn't really get out of control, that he didn't gain too much momentum. Solar was able to slow him down enough, and yeah, GG. GG, well played. As we are getting ready for game number 2. Ugh, but that was pretty intense. That was a pretty intense game. Very back and forth, and we saw as well that again with that triple factory production, ByuN, he was making a lot of tanks towards the end there, but again he had lost a pretty crucial fight, and there was nothing to support those tanks. Solar getting out of control himself. And now we're getting into game number 2. And here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in this series, but it's a best of 5. Plenty of games ahead of us. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Oh my god. Solar. Is that you? Oh my god. Okay. A couple of things going on here. One, ByuN is setting up for a 2-rack opener on the low ground, reverting back to what he's known for, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise here for ByuN. Meanwhile, Solar, he goes for a gas first opener. Gas first into a spawning pool, into a very late hatchery. So with this, obviously Solar, he's going to have a lot of gas to work with. This can lead into fast link speed. This can also lead into a Bane bust as well with a fast Bailey nest, or into a Roach Rush. So Solar, he has a couple of aggressive options available to him. He has options. And I'm sure he's gonna decide on what he wants to do once he does get eyes on the natural on what opener ByuN is going for. Behind this, Queen is on the way. We're making Lings. We're going to have enough gas here for Ling speed at least. And interesting, Solar, he does pull out. Gets Ling speed and he pulls out entirely. Meanwhile, the Overlord across the map does get eyes on the wall. And Solar is now aware of the 2 racks opener. And I think this is okay. We don't need it to, like, again, Roach rushes against this can struggle. Bane Bust can be okay. But prioritizing Ling speed, what this means is that Solar is going to have a much, or sorry, I should say, ByuN has a smaller window where his Reapers are having map control. Once Ling speed kicks in, Solar, he can hunt them down. And Solar is going to be free to expand a little bit faster as well. So typically, this opener from ByuN gives the Terran player a lot of map control and can delay the 3rd base and deny the 3rd, but Ling speed counteracts that. Oh, but ByuN also mixes it up. Okay. As we do see these Reapers dance with the Lings and shave off 3 of them already, my god. ByuN did not go for a triple Reaper opener. He made 2 Reapers, 1 on each of these Raxes, and he's transitioning very quickly into Reactor, into a Tech Lab, into a 3rd Rax as well. So even though Solar is going to have faster map control and he can take a faster 3rd base, or like just a better timing on his 3rd base as a result, ByuN wasn't going to cancel it anyway. ByuN, he wasn't committed. He only made 2 Reapers. So in a way, I think I would say that ByuN is coming out on top. I think he is favored here when it comes to the openers and how everything is played out. Basically, Solar rush into Ling speed and it's not applicable. Like, it's not impacting the game because ByuN isn't being aggressive that early on. And here we go. We're going for a full lot push instead. With this 3 racks, we have Stim on the horizon. ByuN is hunting down Overlords if possible. The Lings of Solar, they confirm the add-ons at least, and oh, they do see the 3rd racks. He knows. He now is aware. Very important scout for Solar. Well, back at home, he's building up his Queen count. He can drone a little bit more. Not too much, but a little bit. Oh, do we have enough Lings, though? It's a lot of Marines. We have more reinforcements coming. Okay, so he drones up to 44. I was about to say that 45 is kind of the most you want to work on. So 44 is definitely within range. And now Solar, he brings his Queens to the front lines. He's got nothing but Lings in production as well. He is preparing for the push. Ooh, as Solar supply blocked 4 Overlords on the way. A brutal supply block from Solar. Is that going to kill him? It is going to be close. Here we go. Queens are being brought together. Do we have a transfuse? We do! We don't have that much energy. The Marines are getting out of control. They get 1 of the Queens. Get a 2nd Queen as well. And it looks like Solar is going to be able to hold. But again, that supply block almost killed Solar. Oh god! As ByuN, he wants the Queens. He gets 1 extra Queen towards the end. And Solar does hold for the time being. Wasn't the most efficient trade. Looking at the units lost tab, it was 38 Lings and 4 Queens for 21 Marines. Meanwhile, we're following this up with a factory and a starport. This is not a 2-base all-in. ByuN, he is expanding. He's taking a 3rd. He's working on another base as he moves out once again with another bio push. Now this time, I think Solar does have enough to defend. Yeah, we got 16 more Lings in production. ByuN is looking for a cancel on this hatchery, and I think he's going to get it. Brutal cancel here for Solar. Still trying to build up his economy. He needs the larva. He needs the base. And he's going to expand over towards the left-hand side instead. A safe bet. Safe base to be taking. Back at home, we have 1-1 on the way. Interesting choice. So Solar, he delays his lair. He intentionally delays his lair to work on faster upgrades. It's a bit of a greedy move, but because ByuN is working on a 3rd CC, it's probably going to work out. The downside of prioritizing these upgrades is that Solar will have a delay on Bailing speed. Bailing speed is going to be delayed. We'll see if that's going to kill him. We'll see if he needed it, because ByuN is moving out. He's got one tank with his army. He's rotating over towards the left-hand side. It looks like Solar, he misses the move out with that Ling. Uh-oh, and are we going to see another cancel on this base? Army has been spotted. The queens are rotating on over. Yeah, it's too late. We cancel the 4th again for a 2nd time. The queens! Oh, they move command forward. 2 queens go down for free. Solar, he's falling apart a little bit. He is having a hard time keeping up. Now he takes another 4th here on the right-hand side. We have reinforcements on the way. I don't think Solar can expand. I think he's just going to be stuck here on 3 bases for quite some time. Ay. Yeah, ByuN, he just got too much momentum. Too much too quickly. This hatchery is going to be cancelled. At the same time, Solar, he's collapsing on this army. Bailings are waddling on in. Tank goes down. Solar, he does clean this up, but he did lose another base. It was cancelled, thankfully. Again, losing all those queens earlier means less creep. Less creep on the map. Solar trying to expand, trying to take another base. And he is setting up a run by. Okay, actually, sorry. He's setting up to collapse on this army. Comes in from behind. Gets on top of the tank. And I'm getting some deja vu. As the Marines sim on forward, and they're going to get quite a lot of workers. 4 or 5 drones go down. And a queen. Oh, not quite. And a queen. 5 workers and a queen. Not too bad here from ByuN. Making some magic happen. Takes down a lot of the creep in the center of the map as well. And I'm getting deja vu because ByuN has just lost 2 tanks. He's losing quite a lot of his high-tech units. But the difference is, I guess the biggest difference between Game 1 and Game 2 is that Solar, he's still stuck on 3 bases. He still cannot get his 4th up and running. He has very limited lava to work with. You can see that reflected in his bank. And here comes ByuN looking to deny this space once again for, what is this, a 4th time? This time the hatchery will finish. Solar trying to set up a surround, but he doesn't quite have as much supply as he once did. He's rolling on in. Decent connections with his Bailings, but the Marines stand strong. 1 tank still survives. And ByuN is looking to kill this base. Up. Solar barely holding on. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Good target firing on the Bailings. Another tank arrives. And ByuN is breaking this position. There are no Bailings left. Only Marines and Queens. And yeah, GG gets called. Solar is broken, and ByuN ties up the series 1-1. GG. Just constantly in his face, and unlike the previous game, which was a larger map, of course, on a smaller map, ByuN is able to deny the 4th time and time again, snowballing out of control, not just denying the 4th base, but also killing queens over time, clearing up creep over time, and getting out of hand. GG. We have a series. We have a series, and I'm sure this game here is what ByuN wanted out of Game 1. He's like, this is what's meant to happen. So really solid play there out of ByuN. Making up for what happened in that first game. And with that, we have a series. We have a back and forth. As a reminder, it's a best of 5. This is still a best of 5, so we have at least 2 more games ahead of us. Ideally, we go to the ace match. That's what I want at least, but we'll see what we get. The Hero Marine. The one Marine that was dropped off to kill the Queen. It was beautiful. Was beautiful. And here we go. We are getting into our next game. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of a grass farm. We have the South Korean Terran player tying up the series 1-1 in that last game, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. As a reminder as well, to wind it back to game 2, it was also a really rough start for Solar. If you remember, he went for a gas first opener, he rushed into link speed, and ByuN wasn't aggressive. ByuN was transitioning very quickly into his 3 racks follow-up, so Solar kind of put himself behind in the early game. It did mean that he had a lower worker count, did impact his overall defense initially. So it was a rough start, and this time we see Solo going for a hatch gas pool opener. Much more standard, much more economic, a lot less risky. He's not taking his chances anymore. Meanwhile, across the map, ByuN is going for the 2 racks opener once again. Once again, back to back, as to be expected from ByuN, of course. Is going to be working on those Reapers, and we'll keep a better eye on him. As a reminder, last game he only made 2 Reapers and very quickly transitioned out into the 3 racks. We'll see if he does something similar or if he commits to a more standard opener with 3 Reapers instead for map control. As the Overlord of Solar moves out, and we'll get an eye on the production on the low ground. Does see the 2 racks, does confirm what ByuN is up to. As ByuN does show a 3rd Reaper. He should be committing to it. Meanwhile, the 1st Reaper does arrive across the map. Oh. Is looking to take down some of these drones. And so far, nothing too major, just dancing with the army, chipping away at the Lings. You do see the 2nd Reaper coming in from behind. 1 drone does go down. Very nice movement out of ByuN. Really nice positioning as well. Takes down 1 drone. And now the 3rd Reaper is soon to arrive. A very safe tumor location from Solar. As the Reaper is a dip into the main. But Solar's doing a great job at keeping up so far. Oh, as I say that, the Reapers do dip towards that natural base instead. They trade with the Lings. Behind this, we don't have a 3 racks follow-up, which is important to point out. It's going to be a factory into a 3rd CC, so a very economic follow-up this time. For the first time this series, actually. So, ByuN is taking a much more calm, cool, calm, and collected approach instead. Far more economic. And Solar can breathe easy. I mean, he hasn't seen it yet. He doesn't know what ByuN is up to, but we can see that Solar doesn't really have too much to worry about anytime soon. Solar is free to drone. Behind this is going to be a 3cc 2-1-1. We have an add-on swap with a tech lab. It looks like ByuN should be working towards a Banshee. I say that, we casted ByuN versus Scarlet earlier today, and ByuN, instead of going for a Banshee, went for a Raven first. So I'm curious as to what unit ByuN is going to be going for. As ByuN does harass the 3rd base, and yeah, once again, just like against Scarlet, it is a Raven first. Very interesting. So we're going to be getting a Raven. We have the reactor on the factory. We're going to be making a wave of Hellions, as well as Marines, of course. And this does mean that ByuN can be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive when it comes to cleaning up creep and being active with it. The Raven also provides a lot of utility. It can throw down auto turrets in case solo goes first around. It can support the first push quite well. So yeah, this is really unique to ByuN. Curious to see how he's able to make use of it. He's going to be sending his Raven across the map for now, looking for potentially some auto turret harass. Back at home, Solo, he's just droning up, saturating his third. We've got double Evo chambers on the way for 1-1. Just like the last game, it looks like Solar, he's prioritizing his 1-1 upgrades, and he's going to be delaying his lair. Which again has its pros and has its cons. Specifically in this game, I do think that this is a wise choice because ByuN isn't being anywhere near as aggressive. So Solar, he has the time he needs to eventually get his lair and eventually get baning speed. Like, this game isn't anywhere near as intense as the last one. There it is. Lair does now begin. Raven is going into the main base. At the same time, we have a push through the center. Stim is done. Medivacs have arrived. Auto chart into the main. Meanwhile, the Queens are looking a little bit exposed. Oh! The Queens, they barely do hold on. And the stutter stepping is pretty intense here. ByuN trading as best he can as he is forced back. ByuN losing 9 Marines but getting 18 Lings. And a drone in the main. So a 2-for-1 trade for ByuN. As he's gonna back off, reestablish himself, consolidate his army, and push back in. And ideally, he does want one of these queens. Oh, as he does quickly pick up that last tumor. Meanwhile, ByuN still has that Raven out in the corner of the map. Solo just going to be holding onto his 4th, getting his 5th towards the north. Sneaking out that base. 1-1 is about to kick in. Baneling speed just now starting, essentially. So again, delayed baneling speed, but hopefully Solo doesn't need it too much. As he's going for a big lane counterattack. There are plenty of units back at home, but really he's just forcing ByuN to turn around. As I say that, Solar, he does commit. Up, up. Oof. Even forcing some friendly fire. A good trade, a cheeky move out of Solar. I don't know if you saw that. He intentionally went within range of the Widowmine and then dragged it into the army. As ByuN is pushing back out. Uh-oh. Double drop is poised to deny the 5th. And Solar's not quite in position. Yeah, Ling Bane nowhere near this. The hatchery gonna take a lot of damage. And we are gonna be forced to cancel. Likewise, the second push here towards the south. Looking to deny any other base. ByuN once again looking to suffocate his opponent. This time though, Solar does at least have 4 bases mining. Like, we're talking about denying the 5th, not the 4th, so Solar, he has the economy to max out. Oh, oof, oh my god, a big mine shot goes off, taking down the banelings. Double drop towards the north, looking to deny the 5th base once again. There are queens around, but actually, he avoids the hatchery. He goes straight for the mineral line. Greedy move out of ByuN. Not going to get anything. As back at home, ByuN is working on a 4th CC. Building up his Marines, his Marauders. This time, interesting, ByuN, he's not going into tanks. He's going into, or straight into Widowmines instead. Drilling Claws is done. So a more Marine, mine-heavy army. Can trade well against the Ling Bane. Uh-oh. Up! Oh, a massive connection on the army. Solar not able to split up in time. Not a good start for Solar. Uh-oh. Does clean up the mines at least. We do have a double drop towards the north. We have a doom drop going into the main. Oh my god. Just carpet bombing the main base. We have another drop here towards that fourth as well. The tri-pronged attack is pulling Solar apart. Big failing connections though. Big connections in the main. The drop towards the north was cleaned up by the Queens. And ByuN did get 7 workers here at the fourth base. Sorry, at the third base. But I don't think that was quite worth it. ByuN, he lost a lot of his army. Looking at the units lost tab here. 40 Marines, 6 medevacs. It wasn't the worst trade for Solar. A little bit concerned for ByuN, as once again another drop here towards the north. A big push towards the south. Something that is concerning for Solar is the lack of creep. The Queens have been busy here towards the north, and we do have a decent amount of creep here towards the northern portion of the map, but there is 0 creep towards the south. There we go. ByuN is pushing on in. Decent spread as well. The mines are ready for this. Bailing's not quite finding the connections they're looking for. Yeah, and ByuN is breaking on through. We do have some Bailings finishing on up, but is it going to be enough? Up! Up! Decent drags. It looks like Solar does hold on. Detection has arrived. He can clean up those wooden mines. At the same time, there was a drop towards the north, but the Queens dealt with it. Solar, he's holding. Hive is done. We're working on 3-3, or at least +3 carapace. Lunker Den is done, and we don't have any lurker upgrades yet, but we can begin them. We can commence them. Solar doing a great job at taking up. He hasn't morphed in any lurkers yet. I do think they will help him defend against all the aggression here of ByuN. As a much more committed job comes in, taking down the 5th base. Attempting to at least. Lings do get here in time. Solar does hold onto that hatchery, surprisingly. I thought it would be a bit much. Meanwhile, we have that second army here towards the south. Vipers are coming in. They do have plenty of energy. Oh my god! As ByuN was looking elsewhere, takes big bailing shots to the face. Was focusing on his northern drop, and we can see Solar now gaining a lot of momentum. He shuts down the army. Does a lot of damage to the medevacs, and Solar has maxed out. At this point, ByuN has to back off. He has to back off. He's getting his 4th. He's working on his 5th. He doesn't have tanks, though. I don't know if he can defend against the next push. I do think he has to just rely on keeping Solar busy. As we can see, ByuN, he's just calming down. He's slowly remaxing. He's giving Solar a lot of breathing room right now. He's thinking about it. He wants it. ByuN is just fanning out his units, trying to get a read on what's going on. I do think that ByuN should start working on tank production. For 9, it's just ByuN. For now, it's just ByuN, which isn't too bad. We've got plenty of ghosts on the way. So if Solar did make lurkers, we have plenty of ghosts to deal with them. I don't think lurkers would be the right call right now, as ByuN has maxed out. He was in a lot. He was down, what, 30, 40 supply earlier. But Solar wasn't able to capitalize on it. He wasn't able to break any of the positions of ByuN. He's getting the center base up and running. Oh god! Here we go. It's really concerned that mine shot was gonna go off. Solo's rotating around. Again, he's looking for a way in. Center base may be the best option. Here we go. I'm going to be forcing it to be lifted off. Lingbane does roll in, but we have plenty of bio to clean it up. The concave in favor of ByuN. At the same time, a Baneling run by towards the third. Doesn't quite make it in. Does get cleaned up. Meanwhile, that CC is getting very low. He wants it! And he gets it. Command center does go down. Solo's going to be backing off, remaxing here with Lingbane. I do think that it's too early, or like, now is not the time to go into lurker play yet. Solo does have the upgrades, but with so many ghosts, I think he needs to deal with that first before he does try to transition. Nidus in production does have an Overseer chilling in the main. What was chilling in the main? But lurkers to go into a Nidus to like shut down the production would work. Would be a good move here for Solar. Here we go. We do see... Oh! do see Solar once again just looking for a better angle of attack. He's going to be committing here to the triangular third base. Lightning clouds and EMPs are thrown down. There may just be too many tanks though. As ByuN loses 9 SCVs, but he has gone back into tank production. And ByuN, we're in for a longer game. ByuN, after a pretty intense and pretty hectic like first half of the game, ByuN is walling up. He's walling off. He's turtling. He's doing what Terran do best on Gressvan. And again, it makes sense. Gressvan is a very defensive map. Oof. But before ByuN can really turtle up, you see Solo pushing in once again. Big snipes go off on the Hydras. Meanwhile, we get a Nidus into the main, but it will not finish. ByuN just setting up sensor towers, tank lines, depots. We have Blue Flame on the way, so this is a transition into mech. For a late game composition, ByuN does want, Ghost Tank basically, or Ghost Mech. It is what he needs. We do have a Nidus towards the south, and the fourth base is not a planetary, but is spotted by ByuN. Some big blinding clouds once again. Banelings are rolling on in. Solar barely resetting the tank count, but there's just not enough to break this. There's not enough to get on top of the ghosts. As Solar does take down the CC and 11 SCVs. Not too bad. Meanwhile, Nidus towards the south. We do have lurkers inside it, but we're not quite going for the lurkers yet. Oh! Did you get one? One lurker gets out. Just to delay this CC for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Solar is rotating his main army, so the Lings are looking to distract ByuN at that third base. Lings trading okay, not too poorly. Meanwhile, Solar getting ready for a big push here. Trying to collapse on these ghosts. Up! And he's going to be able to catch at least one of them. One ghost goes down. This CC will not get up and running. It's so important here that Solar just doesn't allow ByuN to turtle up. The CC may survive though. But you can see ByuN, he has a very low worker count. Like, Solar's just been so aggressive, constantly hitting the third, hitting the south, killing workers, trading with the army. Solar has a massive bank. That's the thing, Solar, his economy has been left untouched this entire time. He wants to trade. And that orbital does burn down. Solar can do this all day. As here we go, he rolls into the mineral line, takes down another base. The planetary falls, 14 SCVs. At the same time, Lings, they do bust in towards the south. This was an orbital, not a planetary. And ByuN is punished for how greedy he was. We even have borrowed Lings. They get cleaned up. But ByuN, he's stuck on a one base economy, half a base economy. Doesn't have the center base. Barely has any mining here at the triangular third. He's mined out in his natural, mined out in the main. ByuN has no money left. Meanwhile, Solar, he's making it rain, Bobby. He's he's drowning in minerals and in gas. That's everything he needs. Rolling in once again. Getting 15 SCVs. Those workers at the third and workers here, of course. And Solar, he just keeps rotating back and forth over and over again. We have a fresh mining base. We have mules. Mules are going to be going down. The Ghost. Ghost also taking some big baling connections as well. And ByuN is falling apart. He's barely surviving, barely holding on. He's down almost 80 supply. And Solar doesn't need to tech up. He doesn't need Broodlords. He doesn't need Lurkers. That would be a mistake, to be honest. That's what ByuN wants. That's why he has all these ghosts. He's ready for a Broodlord switch. He's ready for Lurkers. Solar, he's just faring better here with a more mobile lair tech army. Lingbane Hydra. It's all he needs. Tanks were unsieged. And the tank count is being reset. A big loss here for ByuN. As he loses another 18 SCVs. He's down to 28. Looks like he's being forced all in. He's finally going for a counterattack, pushing onto creep. But he cannot afford to lose these ghosts. Oh, big snipes. A bigger fungal. The ghosts are caught. GG gets called, and Solar takes the lead in this series 2-1. GG. Oh my god. Once again, a really intense start to the game. Honestly, ByuN was doing a great job at pulling Solar apart. It seemed to be that way anyway. Doing a great job at just keeping the creep at bay. But he wasn't getting too much worker kills. He wasn't really getting too much economic damage. Eventually, Solar was able to get his 5th base up and running, and he was able to stabilize. And after ByuN took one too many poor engagements, if you remember, he did take some bailings to the face in the middle of the map, Solar suddenly got a lot of momentum, and suddenly Solar had the map control, and ByuN had to kind of give it up, turtle back at home, get into tank production, make planetaries, make sensor towers. But Solar had enough of a lead where he was able to just make sure ByuN wasn't able to get his bases up and running. GG. GG, well played. Oh boy, and now we have potentially the final game of this series. Potentially, as this map is going to be Near Humanity. Oh, the humanity. Smallest map in the map pool, but also a very defensive map as well. Terran players are known to turtle very hard on this map, but I feel like that's not really how our Terran player wants to play this out. He was forced into that position, he was forced into that playstyle in the last game just because he was knocked back, right? If he can avoid it, he will. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. Down in this series, he needs your support to bring it to the ace match. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Solar only needs one more. And ByuN is going for the 2 racks opener once again. Now, I did mention this earlier, again, Neo Humanity, it is known for these like really long late game scenarios where the map is cut in half and all the bases are being taken. Specifically, these center 4 bases, the natural, the third, the fourth, and even this center 5th base are really easy to hold on to and take as a Terran or a Protoss player, and you can wall off, you can turtle up, take control of the ramps, and force a later game. But again, ByuN isn't really that kind of player. He will go there if he has to, as we saw in the last game, right? Like he can turtle. Didn't work against Solar, but that's for other reasons. So if he is forced back, he will be willing to just take a more defensive approach. But before that happens, before that occurs, I do believe that he wants to be aggressive. He wants to avoid that kind of game as much as he can. And I appreciate that. As back at home, Solo is going for a hatch gas pull. Very standard opener. Going to be working on his queens and link speed and all that good stuff. His Overlord across the map does confirm the 2-racks opener of ByuN. Solar is aware and he is unfazed as he looks to take a third. Bold move here from Solar. Typically against this you want to delay your third, but Solar says no to that as he does throw down his third on location, at the triangular third location, I should say. Meanwhile, the Reaper dips back in. Second Reaper has arrived. Wants that drone, but the Queen comes out just in time and Solar will defend. Behind this, we have a third Reaper on the way, and ByuN is transitioning. We have our Tech Lab, we have our Reactor, and behind this, we have a a third Rax. Oh boy. And this makes plenty of sense. As defensive as this map can be, and it really can be, we do see a lot of really heavy fire play just because the rush distance by ground is really short, especially when you knock down these rocks. When these rocks get knocked down, it doesn't take long at all for reinforcements to make their way across the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if ByuN goes up to 4 Raxes. For now, though, only 3. Only 3 Raxes for ByuN. Still, though, it does mean a lot of Marines are going to be coming out. A lot of Marines, a lot of bio play. There's that Reactor. Overlord tries to go in for a scalp, but is going to be denied. Oof, this is a rough loss for Solar. And unfortunately, he doesn't know what the follow-up is. So we've been here before. It's going to be a 3-racks, not a 4-racks, which means ByuN is going to have less Marines to work with. It's not going to be an all-in. It's a little bit committed, but ByuN, he can posture with his Marine army, and ideally he wants to wait for his medevacs before he really commits to a big fight. Good pickoff by ByuN. Takes down one of those tumors. Solar, he's going to be saturating his third, droning on up. Behind this, we have that starport. We have the Reactor, who should be going for the add-on swap. Now, ByuN is moving out with Stim, and this should be just to clean up Overlords, just to deny creep. I don't expect him to Stim forward and try to dive on these Queens. But we'll see. We'll see if he does try to go for something a little bit more adventurous. As +1 just now starts, and the starport add-on swap is about to be upon us as well. And yeah, we can see ByuN, he basically moves out, he's looking for Overlords, he's trying to force an overreaction and he backs up. Like, when you go for a 3-racks like this, you don't want to attack without medevacs, just because you don't really have that many Marines to work with. You need to preserve your bio count, you need to take care of your man with gun. As ByuN basically just went for a big lap. He just went for a lap around the map, came back home. Meanwhile, Solar is going to be knocking down these rocks. Upon seeing the movement of these Marines, Solar should be able to piece together that it's a 3-racks. As a result, Solar is droning up on 3 bases. He's got his 4th on the way. Once again, he's delaying his bailing speed, going for 1-1. I'm worried because there's no 3rd CC. This is still looking like it could transition into a 2-base all-in from ByuN. The medevacs have arrived. Stim is done. ByuN, he wants to try to dive on these queens, and he will get one. One queen goes down already. Oh, almost gets a second. The Lings, they do get a surround, though. The queens, they focus down the medevacs. One medevac goes down. A solid defense here from Solar. Behind this, no third CC. ByuN, it looks like he is just doubling down. He's working on tanks. He's going to be hitting with +1. There it is. Finally, we have that third. Oh. He just, okay. I was like, did he just change his mind? Throws down his third CC here at the natural instead. Okay. So he is working towards a later game, which I think is a wise move. I think ByuN lost a lot of momentum already by losing all those Marines and a medevac as well. So I think ByuN needs to calm down a little bit. Gonna stim forward, gonna threaten this fourth hatchery. Queens have arrived. Do quite a lot of damage here to that medevac, as ByuN is just edging on closer. Solo getting ready for a run by. He does have eyes on the triangular third. He doesn't have eyes on the linear third. Solar's in the dark. Still doesn't know if this is a 2-base all-in or not, essentially. Here we go. We are going to be pushing on now. Just getting eyes, testing the ramp. Sorry, testing the natural. The wall. The Queens are going to go toe-to-toe with the ByuN army. Link's coming from behind, and we are collapsing on this location. Decent tank volley does go up on some of those banelings. But Solar, he cleans this up, and he does hold on to his fourth. And he has a fifth. He has both hatcheries. He is lacking creep. That is something to be concerned about. A lot of creep is being cleaned up. But ByuN is at least expanding. Liberators coming out. Tanks as well. Uh-oh. Yo, are we starting to turtle? Are we? I'm a little bit concerned. Now, the infestation bit will help with that. So this does provide access to a hive. It also provides access to Vipers once the hive is done. And Vipers, they will help immensely when it comes to busting these entrenched positions. Lightning clouds, parabombs, abductions. They all help with that. Mainly the abductions and lightning clouds. Solar's re-spreading that creep. Hydrogen on the way. 2-2 as well. Bailing speed is done. And Solar finally gets eyes on the third base. He's finally aware of what is going on. And we'll see how Solar approaches this as well. Now, specifically, I do think it's unwise to try to break this location. You can see how narrow this choke point is. We have 2 tanks. We're about to have 3 tanks in position. We have a CC, could be a planetary. We have 4 liberators. Like, we're not breaking through this. But it looks like Solo wants to try. Looks like he wants to try his hand here at busting through this third. Oh, boy. Let's see how successful he is. Here we go. There's not much Marines. Lings are getting on top of the tanks. The Banelings do crash into the middle line as well. It looks like Solar is busting on through. The Marines are across the map. They're in medevacs all over the place. They were not at home. ByuN thought he was safe. He was anything but big Baneling connection, and it looks like Solar has done it. Wow, did not go to the ace match. Solar takes game number 4, and he eliminates ByuN. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Solar, he saw the tanks, he saw liberators, and you know what? He didn't see the Marines, because there were no Marines. There wasn't anything there to help support that army. Solar takes down ByuN, and advances on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Wow, really impressive. Again, ByuN is one of the best Terrans in the world. He is an amazing player, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Solar just kind of had his number here for the most part. It was really impressive to see Solar keep up with the speed of ByuN. Like, it's not like ByuN was too off today. Like, we saw a lot of multi-prong aggression, we saw a lot of drop play, we saw Solar being suffocated at times just because of how active ByuN was being, but Solar was able to keep up. Able to barely keep up at times, and yeah, GG. GG, well played. A great series, a great best of 5, and congratulations to Solar. My condolences to ByuN, but if you're a Terran fan, there's still more Terran action out there. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, as we can have a bit of a gander as we switch our scenes over. And there it is. We have Hero versus Dark in the upper semifinals, and we have Maru versus Solar in the lower semifinals. Maru, of course, jumped the map earlier to Ragnarok. We were able to cast that series. It was a Bane bust. Don't worry about it. It was a Bane bust Ling Flood. But yeah, we've got 1 Protoss in Hero, we've got 1 Terran in Maru, and 2 Zergs in Dark and Solar. Yeah, the players that I would say are the best in Korea right now. You could obviously bring in like Cure and ByuN, but Solar was looking pretty damn powerful against ByuN. Cure had a really close series against Hero. You could see there. Oh, actually, can I showcase that a little bit? Yeah, there. You can see there, Hero versus Cure was a crazy best of 5 that went all the way to the ace match. We casted that on this channel earlier today, so worth checking out. In the end, Cure did fall. But it could. There's a world out there where it's Cure in the semifinals instead of Hero. We would have had 2 TVZs. So at least we have some Protoss representation here, with Hero repping them. And with that, we are done. We are done for the evening. It's like, what about the rest of the tournament? Oh, well, we got you, Papi. We got you. The rest of the tournament is tomorrow, in less than 24 hours. At the start of this broadcast, at the start of that time. Actually, you know what? How long? I can get you some numbers, Papi. Get you some numbers. But in less than 24 hours, we're going to be live here on this channel with the final day. The final day of the KSL Summer Slam, of the semifinals and the grand finals, which will be 2 best of 5s and a best of 7. So tomorrow will be the conclusion of this tournament, and we will crown a new champion. We will crown the victor. So be sure you're a part of that. Be sure you are there. Just double checking. So it's going to be in 19 hours and 40 minutes. So again, just under 24 hours, 19 hours. So yeah, make sure you're there for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be amazing. Going to be beautiful. And of course, predictions will be open in the chat at the time as well. So you can try to figure out who you think is going to be that champion. Coming into it, it's hard to bet against Maru. Let's be real here. But it's gonna be really good games nonetheless. It's always a lot of fun casting. As I do commit to the predictions, it's always a lot of fun casting Hero versus Dark. Hero versus Dark is always an amazing series. It's always a lot of fun. A really high quality PvZ. Maru versus Solar is going to be an interesting one as well. We saw how well Solar was performing against ByuN. So even though on paper I would say that Maru is the favorite player over Solar, I mean, we could be seeing a different Solar. This is a Solar who just beat ByuN. He clowned all over Serral during WTL. Solar, he is not one to be taken lightly, so he could be a dark horse coming into this, and he could even take the whole thing. If he can take down Maru, then mate, who's going to stop him? So yeah, it's going to be a lot of high quality matches tomorrow. We are going to be casting both semifinals and the finals tomorrow, so everything will be covered on this channel. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much everyone for watching. It's been a great time, a great tournament. Oh, a great broadcast. Oh. Here we go. Outside of that, if you are interested in following the CranKy Ducklings, and exclamation mark socials in the chat. You can follow us all over the place. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. And then WTL, let me just double check. WTL is on Saturday, right? Oh no, yeah. Tomorrow's gonna be an intense day. Yes, as Count Bebop said in the chat, tomorrow we're casting KSL SummerSlam Finals, and right after that, the WTL qualifiers. Yes, WTL qualifiers are going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my god, and Monday. 4 days. 4 days of World Team League action. So we will be casting that, and of course we always have a jam-packed schedule over the weekend. We're going to be covering GPO and Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. So plenty of StarCraft ahead of us. So yeah, if you're interested, links are in the chat for all the social medias. Otherwise, if you are perhaps, if you're interested in myself, I'm Light VIP. I stream over on my own channel on a pseudo daily basis. We've been really busy casting, so I've been missing some streaming days, but we've been streaming consistently over the past 2 days, and we'll be streaming tomorrow hopefully as well, over on my personal channel, Light_VIP. You can click on my name on the title of the Twitch, on the Twitch title if you're interested. It's just some Zerg ladder gameplay, nothing too crazy. There's no casting there. Sometimes we play other games if you're interested, but if you're only really looking for pro StarCraft gameplay and for casting, then that's here on the CranKy Ducklings, here on the Ducklings. So yeah, you can follow us and support us if you're interested. You can subscribe on Twitch, you can subscribe on Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, all the subscriptions. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the conclusion of the KSL SummerSlam. Before I forget, exclamation mark KSL in the chat. I was talking about how we have a Patreon and we have our own tournaments. True, we do. And we do try to support them and the scene as best we can. But we also have the KSL Patreon as well, and we should promote that because this is the event itself that we're talking about. The KSL is funded by the community. It's a very successful Patreon, but because it's so successful, it isn't just producing weekly tournaments, but also some seasonal events like the SummerSlam as well. So if you want them to do this more frequently, like a winter edition or an autumn edition, Patreon is the place to do it. Check it out, check it out. They also provide replay packs as well, from all these KSLs, so they got you covered. Thank you for the cast. Take care, everyone. Take care. Thank you. We appreciate it. Stick around. We're going to be giving another streamer a raid. Not too sure who we're going to be raiding, but give them a chance. Give them some support. Give them some quacks. Give them some ducks. Quack, quack. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hasta luego, papi. Hasta luego.